Welcome to Health 2660. Here we don't just talk about health, we tell the stories that heal. Now please listen to the story. Lisa had always feared one thing more than anything else: losing her mind like her mother did. Her mother, Eleanor, was a bright, witty woman, a retired English professor who could quote Shakespeare at the drop of a hat and whip up a soufflé that would make Julia Child jealous. In her late 60s, however, a cruel thief began to creep into Eleanor's life: Alzheimer's disease. It started subtly with misplaced keys and forgotten appointments, but it escalated with terrifying speed. Lisa watched helplessly as her mother forgot names, places, even who Lisa was, the woman who had taught her to read, who had comforted her through every childhood, scraped knee, and teenage heartbreak, slowly slipped away. By the time Eleanor passed away, she could barely recognize her own reflection in the mirror, let alone her own daughter. The light in her eyes, once so vibrant, had dimmed to a flicker, then extinguished completely. Now, at 52, Lisa began noticing little lapses herself. They were small, at first, almost insignificant. She would walk into the kitchen, intending to grab a carton of milk, and forget why she was there. Standing blankly in front of the open refrigerator, a sense of unease creeping into her mind. She misplaced her keys with alarming frequency, often finding them in the most absurd places: the freezer, the bookshelf, even once tucked inside her shoe. She forgot appointments, much to the annoyance of her colleagues at the law firm where she worked. She struggled to recall the names of people she had known for years, the tip of the tongue feeling, a constant, frustrating presence. It's normal with age, everyone assured her with well-meaning smiles. Her husband, Mark, a kind and patient man, would gently tease her, calling her his absent-minded professor. Her friends would laugh and share their own stories of forgetfulness, attributing it to stress and the demands of modern life. But deep inside, Lisa feared she was following her mother's path, destined to suffer the same agonizing decline. The fear was a constant companion, a dark cloud hovering over her, every thought, every action. She tried to rationalize it, to dismiss it as simple anxiety. But the lapses continued, growing more frequent and more disturbing. One evening, consumed by anxiety, Lisa scrolled through videos online, desperately seeking answers, seeking reassurance. She stumbled upon a lecture titled, "What You Must Do to Never Get Alzheimer's." The title, bold and declarative, grabbed her attention instantly. Hope flickered within her, a tiny spark in the darkness. The doctor in the video, Dr. Alistair Humphrey, is a neurologist. He explained something Lisa had never heard before, something that challenged her preconceived notions about Alzheimer's. Forgetting small things, he explained, is often normal as we age. It's a natural part of the aging process, a consequence of the brain's gradual slowdown. But the real danger, he emphasized, is when forgetfulness progresses to losing familiar faces, places, and basic functions. When it disrupts daily life and impairs the ability to perform simple tasks. Lisa learned that Alzheimer's wasn't just about aging or bad luck, a cruel twist of fate. It was tied to how the brain maintains itself over time, to the intricate balance of cellular processes that keep the mind sharp and the memories intact. The video described how the brain, like every organ in the body, produces waste as part of its daily activity. When neurons work firing signals and transmitting information, they generate byproducts. Some of these byproducts, such as beta amyloid and tau proteins, can accumulate in the brain over time. In healthy brains, these proteins are cleared away efficiently, preventing them from causing harm. But when the clearance process is disrupted, these proteins can clump together, forming plaques and tangles that interfere with neuronal function. The brain, Dr. Humphrey explained, has its own built-in housekeeping system, a sophisticated network of support cells, known as glial cells, that help clear out these waste products. This system, called the glymphatic system, works most effectively during deep sleep, flushing out toxins and keeping the brain healthy. It's like a nightly brainwashing, removing the debris that accumulates during the day. But when sleep is disrupted, inflammation rises, or unhealthy lifestyle habits accumulate. This cleaning process slows down. Waste builds up, gradually damaging brain cells and their connections, leading to memory problems and eventually diseases like Alzheimer's. Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. Her poor sleep, characterized by restless nights and frequent awakenings, her reliance on sugary snacks and processed foods, her daily stress from the demands of her high-pressure job, and her largely sedentary lifestyle had unknowingly been sabotaging her brain for years. She had been neglecting her brain, treating it like an afterthought, unaware of the damage she was inflicting. Lisa finally understood. While she couldn't change her genes, she could influence how they expressed themselves through lifestyle. She couldn't rewrite her family history, but she could write her own future. Determined not to repeat her mother's fate, to escape the shadow of Alzheimer's, Lisa made a plan. Not a crash diet or an extreme routine, but a sustainable lifelong approach to brain health. A plan built on knowledge, discipline, and a deep commitment to her own well-being. Step 1. Prioritizing sleep. Lisa began focusing on her sleep, first realizing it was her brain's most powerful cleansing tool. She knew that sleep was essential for clearing out toxins and consolidating memories, but she had consistently sacrificed it in favor of work and social activities. She set a strict bedtime of 10:30 p.m., no exceptions. She treated it like an unbreakable appointment, a non-negotiable commitment to her brain health. She turned off all screens, her phone, her laptop, her television. An hour before bed, recognizing the disruptive effects of blue light on melatonin production. She installed blackout curtains in her bedroom, creating a dark and tranquil sleep environment. She played calming music, gentle classical pieces, or nature sounds, to ease into sleep, soothing her mind and body. She avoided caffeine after 2 p.m., knowing its stimulating effects could interfere with her sleep cycle. Within weeks, Lisa felt more refreshed. Her foggy mornings cleared, replaced by a sense of mental clarity and focus. She began experiencing longer periods of deep sleep, waking up feeling rested and rejuvenated. She noticed an immediate improvement in her memory and concentration. Step 2. Cleaning up her diet. Next, Lisa overhauled her eating habits, cutting out the processed foods she once leaned on during busy workdays. She had always been a creature of convenience, relying on takeout meals and packaged snacks to fuel her through long hours at the office. But she realized that these foods were not only devoid of nutrients, but also actively harmful to her brain. She eliminated refined sugars, white flour, and vegetable oils from her diet, recognizing their inflammatory effects on the brain. She focused on whole, nutrient-dense foods, leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, colorful produce, wild-caught fish, pastured eggs, and grass-fed beef in moderation. She filled her plate with vibrant colors and textures, nourishing her brain with the vitamins and minerals it needed to thrive. She added healthy fats like extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, walnuts, and almonds to her diet, Knowing their importance for brain cell structure and function, she increased her magnesium and potassium intake with avocados, pumpkin seeds, spinach, and bananas essential minerals for nerve function and electrolyte balance. She stayed well hydrated, drinking plenty of water, daily recognizing the importance of hydration for optimal brain function. Her energy stabilized, and she no longer craved afternoon sweets. She felt a sense of vitality and well-being she hadn't experienced in years. Step 3. Moving her body. Lisa knew physical activity was crucial for stimulating her brain. Movement increases oxygen, improves blood flow, and boosts brain-derived neurotrophic factor BDNF, a hormone critical for forming new brain connections. She had always viewed exercise as a chore, something to be endured rather than enjoyed. But she realized that movement was essential for her brain health, a vital component of her overall well-being. She walked briskly for 40 minutes each morning, enjoying the fresh air and sunshine, clearing her head and invigorating her body. She added light strength training 3 times per week, focusing on exercises that strengthened her core and improved her posture. She incorporated short, high-intensity interval training, HIIT, once per week, pushing her cardiovascular system and boosting her metabolism. She enjoyed weekend hikes and nature walks, immersing herself in the beauty of the natural world, finding peace and tranquility in the stillness of the forest. Her body grew stronger, and she felt sharper mentally. She noticed an improvement in her mood, her energy levels, and her overall sense of well-being. Step 4. Managing stress. Chronic stress. She learned floods the brain with cortisol, shrinking the prefrontal cortex and worsening memory. She had always been a high-strung, anxious person, prone to worrying and overthinking. But she realized that chronic stress was damaging her brain, impairing her cognitive function, and increasing her risk of Alzheimer's. She practiced daily deep breathing exercises, focusing on her breath, calming her nervous system, and reducing her anxiety. She meditated for 10 minutes each morning, quieting her mind, centering her thoughts, and cultivating a sense of inner peace. She set clear work boundaries and simplified her schedule, learning to say no to commitments that drained her energy and increased her stress levels. She joined a local choir, finding joy and relaxation in singing, connecting with others, and expressing her creativity. She reconnected with friends for weekly social outings, strengthening her relationships, laughing, and sharing experiences. With each stress-reducing habit, Lisa felt lighter, calmer, and more mentally present. She learned to manage her stress, to cope with challenges, and to cultivate a sense of resilience. Step 5. Stimulating her mind. Lisa didn't stop at physical health. She committed to keeping her mind active, building cognitive resilience. She understood that the brain, like a muscle, needs to be exercised to stay strong. She learned Spanish using Duolingo, challenging her brain with new vocabulary and grammar rules. She played Sudoku and crossword puzzles, daily stimulating her problem-solving skills and sharpening her cognitive function. She took up painting, something she always dreamed of, unleashing her creativity, expressing her emotions, and engaging her senses. She journaled nightly, reflecting on gratitude and personal growth, processing her thoughts and solidifying her memories. Each new challenge added complexity to her neural network, strengthening her brain's ability to adapt. She felt her mind growing sharper, her memory improving, and her overall cognitive function enhanced. Step 6. Regular monitoring. Lisa stayed proactive with her healthcare team. Her doctor monitored inflammatory markers, CRP levels assessing the level of inflammation in her body, a key indicator of brain health. Blood sugar and insulin sensitivity, monitoring her risk of diabetes, and insulin resistance, both linked to Alzheimer's. Sleep patterns and cognitive assessments, tracking her sleep quality and cognitive function over time. Nutrient levels like magnesium B vitamins and omega-3s, ensuring she had adequate levels of these essential nutrients for brain health. Every appointment brought encouraging news. Her markers steadily improved. 2 years into her journey, Lisa stood in her doctor's office with a sense of pride and relief. Her doctor smiled as she reviewed the results. "Lisa, your brain is aging beautifully. Your risk factors are dramatically lower than 2 years ago." Lisa felt deeply relieved and proud of the progress she had made. The small choices she made daily had rewritten her story, breaking the family cycle. While she couldn't erase her family history, Lisa had broken the cycle through knowledge, consistency, and action. Instead of waiting for symptoms to appear, she had built resilience long before disease could take hold. Her mind was clear, her memory strong, and her days full of energy and joy. She had transformed her life, reclaiming her health and rewriting her destiny. What we can learn from Lisa: genetics load the gun, lifestyle pulls the trigger. We cannot change our genes, but we can influence how they express themselves through lifestyle choices. Deep sleep is essential for brain detox and repair. Prioritize sleep to cleanse the brain of toxins and consolidate memories. Whole natural foods fuel the brain best. Nourish the brain with nutrient-dense foods to support cognitive function. Movement stimulates neuroplasticity and growth. Engage in regular physical activity to improve blood flow and boost brain-derived neurotrophic factor, BDNF. Stress management protects emotional and cognitive health. Practice stress-reducing techniques to calm the nervous system and prevent cortisol overload. Lifelong learning strengthens brain resilience. Challenge the brain with new activities and information to build cognitive reserve. Early prevention is far more effective than late treatment. Start nurturing the brain early to prevent the onset of Alzheimer's. Your brain has remarkable healing potential. The earlier you start nurturing it, the stronger it becomes. Small daily choices, lifelong protection. Lisa's journey is proof that it's never too early or too late to protect your most precious asset, your mind. She continued her journey, remaining vigilant, dedicated, and proactive. She understood that maintaining brain health was not a destination, but a continuous process, a lifelong commitment to her well-being. And as she looked forward, she knew that she had the power to shape her future, to live a long, healthy, and fulfilling life, free from the shadow of Alzheimer's. The fear that had once consumed her was replaced by hope, by confidence, and by a deep sense of gratitude for the gift of a healthy mind. Health 2660. Thanks you for listening. We'll see you in the next video, and until then, be kind to yourself.